friends, welcome back to another Pick a Card Tarot reading. This week we're going back to a fan favorite and we're going to be doing a yes or no video. So this is going to be a video all about answering your yes or no questions. So come up with a question in your mind, something that you can answer yes or no, and look at the pile below. We have pile number 1 with the bees, pile number 2 with the horse, pile number 3 with the apple, pile number 4 with the blueberries, and pile number 5 with the frog. So take a look at those, see what you think, see what you like, and in a moment we will be doing the reading. So if you just go down to the description section below, you will find a link to the reading. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It really does help me out. And if you would like a private reading with me, they are available on my website. You can find that at junodrome.com. Information below. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to get straight into the reading. All right, thanks. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So, it's been a minute since I've done one of these yes or no's, but I'm excited to get back into it because it really is one of the fan favorites, which is great. So I like giving these, and we'll get a little bit of clarity on your situation, whatever it is you're asking about. So there's 3 different methods for generating a yes or a no here. I've got the coin, the die, and the pendulum. So we're going to get a yes, no, or maybe from that, either a triple yes, triple no, or a maybe leaning in one of those directions. That way we can get kind of a clarity on your situation. And sometimes, you know, some situations don't have full clarity, and that's important to remember too. So, you know, just keep that in mind as we do this. So yeah, anyway, here we go. Yeah, cards come second. So we just have to ask the pendulum a few questions just to make sure that it's working right. So let's ask it some questions. Am I currently leaving a day job for something else? Yes, I am. I don't really mean to talk about my personal life, but yeah, you can tell what is on my mind right now. Let's see here. Do I have 2 olive trees in front of me? I do, and one of them I'm going to be transforming into a bonsai. That'll be really fun. I got 2 olive trees from Trader Joe's recently. That was great. Is my hair blue? No, it's not, pendulum, but the pendulum is saying yes. So, okay, well, let's keep asking it questions until it is right. Did I shave my head when I was asking whether I should shave it or keep it long? Oh, did I shave my head? Yeah, that's the yes or no question. No, I did not. Okay, correct, pendulum. Great. Okay. Is there a record player in front of me? Yes, there is. Okay, we're starting to get on a roll here. Am I barefoot? No, I am not. Okay. Am I sitting in a chair? Yes, I am. Okay, it's slowly moving back into that. It's being a little hesitant today, so that might have something to do with your state here, pile number 1. Let's ask the question though. What is the answer to pile number 1's question? Okay, the pendulum feels decisively in a no swing. So I'm going to say no from the pendulum, but like I said, it's been hesitant this entire time. So we'll see what the rest of the cards say, but now we're getting a pretty clear no. So, okay, so the pendulum says no. Let's look at our other methods though. The die, even is yes, odd is no. And we have a 3, so we have 2 no's so far. Now we'll do the coin. Heads is yes, tails is no. And we have a tails. So we've got a triple no. Okay, so first off here, we're getting no. So what is the answer to your yes or no question? It's a pretty decisive no, and I'm feeling that decisiveness from this. So let's keep looking though. This may be, like I said, sometimes these are situations where you want to know. Sometimes these are situations where you don't. Either way, let's just take a look and see what the cards say. So first up, you have the bee symbolism, which is like this worker bees. There's also two of them. I'm getting a very Two of Pentacles vibe from this for whatever reason, which is very much this balancing act. So you might be asking about a situation where, you're trying to find balance in something, or you're trying to maybe sway between two options. You're trying to pick between options. The one option that you were asking about, though, is feeling a decisive no, but I do feel this sort of indecisive energy from this. Like, remember, the pendulum was feeling indecisive, but regardless, it's like maybe you might be feeling indecisive about this current situation that you're asking about, but there does seem to be a pretty clear outcome to the question, and that outcome is no. So we're going to keep looking at the cards. There's a quote on the back of here that we're going to save to the end, because that's what I like to do with these, and they tend to be applicable. So first up, we have two cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. You have the Ten of Pentacles. That's powerful. And you have the Ace of Swords. Wow. Okay, so wow. Okay, remember I was feeling that Pentacles energy from this too, with this abundance. Worker bees build. They build their hive, and so it's very physical abundance. But the Ten of Pentacles here is ultimate abundance, right? So we have this ultimate abundance, but it's got to come from the Ace of Swords, which can talk about cutting things off, cutting things out of our life, cutting things away. So it's almost like, if you're asking about a job, like, should I stay at this job, or should I stay at this job in particular? It's almost like I'm getting a clear answer. With it being a triple no, the decisive answer is like no, because if you leave and cut this away, then you're running towards ultimate abundance. You're moving towards this ultimate abundant energy from something else. These are general yes or no's, though, so take that with a grain of salt. This is obviously not everybody who's asking about employment. I do, though, feel like there's a certain situation about wanting to walk away to find this abundance. Like, it's like you have to move on. The Ace of Swords can also talk about changing your ideas. It can talk about having a new idea about something. And so it's almost like, you have to have a new perspective. If you change your perspective, then you'll be able to move towards this abundant energy if you're asking about that. Or, even this can be fulfillment as well, like physical fulfillment. Sometimes it's depicted as like intergenerational wealth and like a long-term family situation. So it's like if you're asking about a partnership or something, it feels like there needs to be a drastic and decisive change in your mind, and the way that you're perceiving this, and the way that you're thinking about things, or even physically, a change in moving away, cutting people out, cutting something off, in order for this thing to come in. So we've got more cards here, so let's take a look at what else we have. We've got two cards from the Smith-Waite deck, one of my favorite Rider-Waite Smith decks. We've got the Four of Swords, and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so, I'm feeling this energy of like, I'm really channeling and I'm starting to move really quick here, but you're almost being asked to do the opposite. So maybe you have a lot of energy pent up about this, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And blah, 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 and you're starting to bubble up and maybe be in that anxiety or something like that, or be in that quick energy. Well, you're being asked right now, and we'll do this together because I think it's important, but you're being asked to slow down on this. Very clear message of, okay, hold your horses, right? Like we just talked about how you probably need to walk away from something, but in the moment, it's like you can actually take your time with this, right? You have this fortune coming in, and it's almost like this fortune is guaranteed. Like you do have to make choices and move in the right direction, but you don't have to worry about timing so much. With this Four of Swords, I'm feeling very much this energy of, okay, slow down, and, rest. This is the card about rest. So we're going to take some deep breaths together. I'd like you to do that with me, just so that we can get back into a comfortable energy and comfortable mood together. So if you just breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, so now that we've calmed down a little bit, like I was saying, you have fortune coming to you, and it feels very much like that fortune that's coming is assured, right? So take your time about making this decision if you're caught in a decision, because I'm feeling that for this yes or no. It's like, and remember, I was saying I feel the Two of Pentacles energy heavily in this B card. Really, really, really take your time about your choices moving forward. You have time to make those choices too. Don't feel like you have to rush this decision. Don't feel like you have to rush anything that you're asking about. It will be a more favorable outcome. You will get the most favorable outcome from whatever your choices that you're going through and decisions and moving forward. You'll get the most favorable outcome if you slow down, you take your time, you weigh your options, and remember with that Ace of Swords, you allow yourself to change your mind. You allow yourself to have your perception, what do you call it? You allow yourself to transform your perception. You allow yourself to move in a new idea and a new understanding. And so in order for that new idea and understanding to come in, it's going to take a certain level of taking a break, taking a rest, not rushing the decision, not rushing through anything, and really being as clear-headed as possible about this kind of thing. So next up we have two cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck, and then we'll close it out with our Oracle card messages. So these are the Empress, yeah, and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so a lot of Pentacles energy here, two aces, so definitely new beginnings, first of all. Whatever you're asking about, there is this opportunity for a new beginning and a new start. So even if that's about a job, or that's about a relationship, or it's about anything, there really is this big, big, big energy of newness, of a new thing that's coming, and to really pay attention to that new energy. So whatever the answer to your question, like I said, you got a triple no, but it's a no that's moving you towards something new, not a no that's keeping you in something stuck. And then you have the Empress, which really, she is the divine feminine card of the tarot. And so she is all about being in this receptive energy. So it's like the thing that's going to work for you, the thing that you're really looking for, looking to move into, any of that, the thing that's the best for you is going to be the things that come to you. So it's allowing yourself to receive these new things that want to come in. It's slowing down and seeing the opportunities that are popping into your life instead of you trying to force something into your life. So keep that in mind. The favorable outcome to your decision, what's going to help you choose, is going to be the things that come to you, less than the things that you force into being. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be taking action, because I do feel that there is action that needs to be taken. But it's almost like in order for you to take that action, you have to be open in that perspective with that new mind. It's almost like you have to change your thinking about it and be open to allowing something new to come in instead of trying to force something into being, if that makes sense. So now we're going to read this oracle card. The first comes from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and you have divine timing. What am I talking about? This entire reading is all about that. Wow, divine timing. Yeah, so this is all about, when I was talking about that slowing down, it's almost like all in good time. That's what you're being told in this reading. That's the biggest thing for you to take away from this, is all in due time. So, allow things to come in, like with the Empress card being in that open receptivity, allow things to come to you. So slow down enough to be able to see that things can come in, right? You are in the right place at the right time right now. Don't think that you're not. You're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly in the moment that you need to be in. So don't feel like you have to rush anything into being. Don't feel like you have to rush anything to completion because you don't feel like you're far enough ahead, or you don't feel like you've done enough, or you don't feel any of those kinds of feelings. Like, that's not going to help you in this situation. You're where you need to be. It's just that the timing isn't quite right for something to happen. So keep that in mind. If this is a triple no, because you were looking like, oh my gosh, is this going to happen? No, because this isn't the right moment. But that doesn't mean no ever, right? That doesn't mean never. It just means maybe not right now, right? So keep that in mind if that's what this question is about. That kind of thing. All in due time. Just because it isn't happening right this second doesn't mean it would never happen, and doesn't mean it's not going to be what you want eventually. It's like maybe this is the wrong time. Maybe if you tried to rush into it or you tried to force something, um, it would bring you, further away from where you really want to be. And so it's like, you have to wait for the stars to align. You have to wait for everything to work into the right way, and other people to get into their places, and other things to line up and happen for whatever it is you're asking about to come into being. So keep that in mind. You are being asked in this reading to have patience, but like that goes again with this worker bee energy, right? They have patience. Worker bees, they build, in order to build their beehive, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of work. And so, you're being asked to have that patience, to take the time, to put in the hard work, and eventually you will get to where you want to be, but maybe it's not right now. And that's okay. That's okay that it's not right now. So let's take a look at the quote from the back of this one. And it says, "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." And that is from the Bible, Proverbs 16:24. Yeah, so, healing words. Use this reading as healing words. I think we got from this with the bee imagery, we got, well, honey is sweet, right? So the bees are making this honey over time. So it's like, in order to get to that sweetness, it's going to take time to get there. So just give yourself the time, give yourself the patience. And I know patience is hard, trust me, it's not the easiest thing. But the more you learn how to develop patience, the more aligned you're going to feel. And it's going to feel all the better when things start coming in, because they're going to come in at a pace that you can take, instead of, sometimes if things were to happen all at once, they would be overwhelming to us. And you wouldn't be ready yet for it. So it's like you have to build yourself into that, and that takes patience, it takes work, it takes time, it takes energy, but it's worth it in the end if you're willing to put that in. Yeah, so anyway, pile number one, that's my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Feel free to leave a comment. I love hearing from you. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It really, really does help me out. We're getting closer to 1,000, so that's exciting. Thanks to all of you who are returning. If you would like a private reading with me, we can get super detailed about these questions, so I can get you way more specific answers. You can find that at my website at www.junodrum.com. Anyway, friends, and check out the Instagram. I'm really posting a daily little card a days and some little snippets from these readings and other fun things there, so you can find that at Juno Drum Tarot. Anyway, friends, I will catch you later. I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya! Hey there, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. So this is the first time that I've been trying out this microphone. So, I got direct sound in, which is exciting. So hopefully the audio quality is good. Anyway, welcome to your yes or no tarot reading, pile number two. Like I said to pile number one, this is the first time I've done these yes or no's in a minute. So it's exciting to get into here and, so there's three different methods for generating a yes or no. We have the die, the coin, and the pendulum. So we're going to start with the pendulum, ask it some questions we already know the answer to, and then we will, just to triangulate it and make sure that it's working okay, and then we'll get right into it. So let me ask it some questions I already know the answer to. To the pendulum, is there a rosemary plant in front of me? Yes, there is. Okay. Is the cactus in front of me purple? No, it's actually pink, and it's a really beautiful pink color. Am I looking outside of a window as I'm speaking right now? Yes, I am. I'm looking at the neighbors. I live in an apartment building, if you wanted to know. Uh, final question. Is there an open bag in front of me? There is indeed. Okay, so what is the answer to pile number two's question? Yeah, I'm feeling a strong yes from the pendulum. Okay, so your first answer is yes. Let's ask the other two just to find out. With the coin here. Oop. Oh, sorry, that's actually the die. And we got a 5, so odds I take as no, evens I take as yes. So you have one yes and one no. So we're in maybe category right now. It's definitely going to be a maybe. Let's see which way it leans, either leaning yes or leaning no. And it is a heads. Okay, so you have two yeses and one no. So uh, the answer to your question isn't quite certain. It's definitely a maybe, which is fine. I know sometimes that can be a little frustrating to have a maybe. But what's great about it is that you get a little bit of the direction with this. So the answer is not quite certain for whatever reason, and we'll look at the cards to try to figure out what that reason is. But we do know that it is at least leaning in the yes word direction. So whatever the outcome, it is definitely leaning in a yes. But don't hold on to that, right? If things need to change, they can still change. That there is agency involved here, that you can go your own way, and you don't have to. And we get horns outside for confirmation. It's not married to an answer. So the question that you're asking about, you still have a lot of choice in the answer. You can choose yes or you can choose no, and that in fact that choice is important. That like don't give up your um, don't give up your own personal autonomy to the fates, right? By asking yes or no. Like I do this a lot, and in fact, I actually had to. I have, which is even worse. I think not worse, but just like even more. Um, Tricky than doing these yes or no tarot videos on YouTube, which I want to tell you, I like these yes or nos a lot. I think they give a lot of clarity to questions that you can have, but sometimes you can get really caught in a trap of asking, um, asking the universe, well, what's going to happen? When in reality, it's like you need to be the one to take action on it, and you have autonomy in it, right? It's like this might be one of those situations where um, it could go either way, and that would be fine, right? And it's less about what's going to be, whether it's going to be amazing or dire, depending on the choice or depending on the question, and more about one of those situations where it's like, well, this is your life that you're living, right? Your spirit guides, your team, the universe, whoever you think that we're talking to in these readings, however you conceive of that great beyond, the great spirit, the great whatever. Um, it's like they aren't the ones living your life. You're the one living your life, and you have agency and you have control. And in fact, I really do feel that symbol being very applicable to the horse here as our first card, because the horse to me is like it's asking you to take charge, right? To charge forward in your own destiny. It feels almost like the knight cards, which are all depicted on horseback, where it's like you have agency to move in your life in whatever direction you feel you need to. And so it's like it's important for you to ask yourself, well, what way do I need to move? What direction will be best for me? How can I help myself in a way that is beneficial to me, and you can ask yourself those questions, but ultimately it's like the answer is going to be from you. I feel that. So it's a maybe because it's like definitely, like I said, we have a leaning yes. So yeah, if you were feeling yes or you wanted yes, you can go in that direction. But it's important to remember that, maybe no would be okay too, right? And maybe that isn't the most applicable to where you want to go, but just because that's the case, that doesn't mean that it's not an option that is good for you, right? Like don't think of it as good versus bad, but more like I can go whichever direction I want to go, and I can explore whatever I want to explore. Think of it in like if you're thinking about it, life like a video game. It's like one of those video games where you can go in any direction, in and explore the world fully, and that's the point of the game versus those games that are very mission based and direct. What do I have to do to accomplish this? What do I have to do to release the princess? I have to press X, Y, and jump in this direction. It's not one of those games. Life isn't one of those games. Life is a game where you have ultimate agency to explore and move in whichever direction you choose. So, anyway, let's take a look more at the rest of these cards. There's a message on the back of this that we're going to save till the end because I feel like I like to read the message on the back of these cards at the end. This is the How to Be a Wildflower deck by Katie Daisy, by the way. She's out of Bend, Oregon. Another Pacific Northwest friend. Not, I mean, I don't know her personally, but I live in Seattle, so us PNW folks got to stick together, right? So anyway, we're going to start with 2 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. We've got the Sun. Oh, friend, yeah, you got the Sun on your side. That's great. And you got the Ace of Wands. Wow, what a powerful combination. Look at how similar the symbolism on these 2 cards is. That's beautiful and amazing. You've got just this explosion of color, of orange light, of the sunlight. Red and orange is so, red is a symbol of the root chakra and orange of the sacral chakra, right? And or the solar plexus. And so both of those together, these are the lower chakras, and orange is the color of the sacral, I think. So all of those colors together can symbolize feeling rooted to the earth, but also a sense of power, a sense of personal power. This reading is all about you connecting to your own personal power. So you have an opportunity for a new beginning here with the Ace of Wands, and it's a new beginning that's following your inspirations. It's a new beginning that's following the things that you truly want for yourself, that are going to help you in the long run, right? It's a new beginning towards your inspirations, towards your drives, towards the things in life that truly light you up. So you're being encouraged as you make this decision, right? Because I feel like maybe some of you are asking about decisions. Should I move forward with this? Should I change my job? Should I work on this? Should I do this art project? Should I, move to Alaska? Should I, whatever you're asking about, if that's the kind of question that you're asking for this yes or no, like I was saying before, you have options and you have agency. So as you make this choice, it's really important for you to truly ask yourself, what do I want, right? With this Ace of Wands, what is it that I need for myself? And what's gonna inspire me in life? What's gonna make it so that I'm so excited to get out of bed and start my day, right? What's gonna make it so that I'm so pumped about being alive, and you are the one who gets to choose that for yourself, right? Keep that in mind. We get so locked in life in these ideas of what we're supposed to do, what we should be doing, but a lot of those things are trapped in our subconscious from culture, from our parents, from family, from our school systems, the way that we grew up. A lot of that stuff is kind of stuck in our minds, stuck at the back of our head, stuck in our bodies, even that are kind of controlling the situation, right? It's like we place limits on ourselves based on those phenomena. But it's important to remember that you actually have ultimate agency over your own life. And this reading is really, really tuning into that idea that you have the power and the tools and the control to make your life whatever you want. You have the power to move your life in whatever direction you really need for yourself. And um, that needs to be the lens that you choose to make decisions moving forward. And you're allowed to take that lens, right? As you do. Remember, life is a series of choices. Like that video game where you can wander around anywhere in the universe, right? You could also play that game where you never leave the opening screen, right? You could just keep it up there where he's just lying in bed and lying in his house the whole time. But like that's also a choice, right? That's an active choice of how to play the game. And I think that would be a really boring video game to just keep him there the whole time. But you can do that, and that's your choice, right? That's what's important to remember. And I used he, but keep these open pronouns. They, them, and she, her, he, him. obviously it's open. I'm open to everything. I myself am a non-binary person, so pronouns are open. Anyway, that's an aside. But just keep that in mind, that you have the power to move in any direction in life. So keep an open perspective, and with that sun, it's like you have open horizons in front of you. So really, really, really keep that in mind as you move forward. You have an open horizon to move in any direction for yourself. So anyway, let's keep looking here. Next up, we have two cards from the Smith-Waite deck, one of my favorite Rider-Waite-Smith decks. I just wanted to make sure we were still recording because sometimes the battery cuts out. Anyway, you have the Rider-Waite-Smith deck here, the Smith-Waite, and we have the Five of Swords. Okay, yeah, and we've got the Seven of Swords. Sorry, the Six of Swords, 5, 6. So, wow, that's powerful. These cards actually do go together. So, what's interesting, when I was first learning tarot, before I kind of I've learned tarot a lot through osmosis. I watch a lot of tarot on YouTube. I've gone to a ton of tarot readers. So I've learned from other people for mostly how I read. But when I was first teaching myself how to read tarot, I got some pretty intuitive understandings that the suits themselves, particularly as they are depicted in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, they depict a storyline, right? So each suit itself is a journey and a movement. So, it's almost like each card is a chapter of this person's journey. And with the swords person's journey, it's fun to have these together because it's showing me almost like there's a story, right? Like these cards go in series. So the person, right? And the Five of Swords can mean a lot of different things. I tend to personally not choose the traditional definition a lot, which is kind of like deceptive energy. Like you look at his grin and he looks kind of like a nasty person, but in the deck that I'm designing, the person looks a little different because I don't always take that interpretation. A lot of times it can mean it's like they're all walking away from this, right? So it's like he's won, he's won from this journey, but it's almost like it's at a cost, right? So it's like he's gotten out of a situation. So it's definitely like he's figured out this situation, and it hasn't worked, and so he's overcome a situation, but there's a twinge of like, ugh, like at what cost, like, oh man, this happened, but oh man. So that could be potentially your past, that you've been through a lot of situations and challenges, and maybe you've gotten out of those situations, but you still feel a bit like, oh no, about it, like, oh geez, I can't believe that this happened this way, and yeah, okay, I'm fine now, but man, that's awful that it had to happen like that. It's kind of that energy. But like I said, then the next story is after that happened, he's feeling bad here, or, this is a mother and a child. But if you think about this in sequence, this person has been feeling bad, and now they're moving away. The Six of Swords is all about moving on from a situation, walking away from something that didn't work. And so it's like they're moving on from these rough waters here at the bottom towards smooth horizons. So it's allowing yourself to walk away from things that aren't working anymore. And so it's like, you may have been through difficult situations in the past, and that might be why you feel like you're at such a loss of being able to move forward, or how you feel a little bit disempowered, because I feel like you don't have to be extremely disempowered to get this reading, but I do feel like a lot of people watching this are feeling this sense of disempowerment, where you feel like you've lost your own agency, and that's why you've kind of given it up to the universe in a certain sense, right? Maybe you've just been through a series and sequence of events that have been challenging and awful and ridiculous, and you've surrendered, and a lot of times surrender is 100% necessary, right? Like, that's the first step. If you go through a bunch of challenging situations and you just feel like you're stuck in the bottom of rock bottom, a lot of times that can be, based on the situations that you've been in, the people that you've been around, the things that have happened. All of that can lead you to feeling like deep, deep, deep in the depths. And so then you just have to surrender to that, and say, okay, well, here I am. I don't know why this has happened to me. I don't know why I'm in this situation, but I surrender. I surrender, and I am open to whatever happens next. And so I feel like maybe you've done that. The next step that comes out of that, though, is that once you have surrendered and you get a better understanding of what's going on, right, with this Five of Swords and moving on, then you can start moving into something new. And so it's almost like I'm getting a sense of like, okay, that chapter did happen in your life and you did surrender to it and you did have these things go on. But um, now you have the power to move into something different. And in fact, actually, life is still an open book to you, even though it didn't feel like it. And in fact, you had to surrender and let go of these people, the situations, these places, these things, all of this stuff that didn't work. You had to let go of it all. And I think that you probably did that. And in letting go of it all, maybe you felt like you didn't even know what to do anymore. But by letting it go, you actually free yourself to be able to move in any direction you want now. You actually, it's almost like it's like starting the game over again almost. But you're starting it with all of your own knowledge, and it's not totally like you have to start from square one, right? Because you're taking wisdom with you. You've gained a tremendous amount of wisdom, and now you actually have the freedom to move in the new direction in any direction that you want. So with this Six of Swords here, it's like you have the freedom now to move in literally any direction. So keep that in mind. Now is the time to regain your agency after the surrender. And it is definitely important to surrender the universe when required. But we can take that to an extreme too, like I was saying, where you just say, okay, well, universe, tell me what to do then. Like, okay, I don't even know anymore. Like, universe, should I do this? Should I do that? Flip a coin. Like, I do that. I've done that. There's this wheel of decide is online. That's my own personal, uh, you know, addiction sometimes, where you just click the wheel and it'll tell you yes or no. And you can get I get obsessive thoughts sometimes where I'm just clicking that wheel, like, oh my god, should I do this? Oh my god, should I do that? Oh my god, is this right? Oh my god, oh my gosh. And like, you can get really, really lost in that though. And this reading is coming in to remind you, maybe you've been watching a bunch of these yes or no videos. I know, you can get really lost on a roll with them sometimes. This is coming in to remind you, like, okay, yes, yes, the universe is out there to give you answers. Your spirit team, your guides, the angels, the angels of our better nature, the spirits of the birds, whatever you open your, and hopefully you're opening yourself up to only those energies that mean you the best, right? Because you know there's some not so great people in the spirit world too. It's important to remember that. Not to be afraid of that. Oh, on the contrary, you have ultimate power against any of that. Just that's an aside. But just remember, the, bring in the people that want to help you, not that want to hurt you. Anyway, whoever it is that you're opening yourself up to, they want to remind you that ultimately this is your life and it's your call, right? Like, they can give you guidance and they can give you thoughts on how to move forward, but you have free will. And that's the difference between those entities and those beings, right? The ones that are really out there to help you will always tell you that you have ultimate free will and control of your life, interfere without your permission, and they're never gonna just interfere in your life, right? Because they know that this life is yours, and you have your own personal authority, you have your own autonomy, and no entity that truly wants to help humankind and help you will ever try to take that from you. But entities that don't mean you well will try to trick you into giving over your authority and your personal power to them. But remember, it's like that personal power can never be taken from you. It can only be given from you. So, it's all about that mindset. What's the other pile? But it's all about how you think about it, right? Like, how you think about your own personal power is important. Dealing with entities and spirits and whatever. And I don't think everybody's necessarily asking about that, but if you are, it's important to remember you have the ultimate authority over your life. No being or entity or spirit or the universe or guide or anything is ever going to get away in the way of that. And in fact, like, they will always respect you for choosing whatever. They might be there to help guide you, but sometimes There are decisions that you have to make yourself because that's what's best for you, right? It's your life, it's yours, and it's up to you to choose how you want to move forward. And I feel like that's the case for anybody who's clicking on this reading. It's one of those questions where it's like it could be anything because you're living your life, and remember. So you don't have to let the past inform you as you move forward. You don't have to let the past dictate how you incorporate yourself into the world. Next up, we have 2 cards from the Smith-Waite deck. Gonna just check the battery again. All right, we're doing great. Thanks for bearing with me, friends. We've got the King of Wands. Yeah, so more Wands energy, and we've got the 2. Follow your heart with that 2 of Cups. You are in the position to align yourself with your own being. The 2 of Cups, I think, can represent the heart center a lot, because it is the card of love, but it can be the card of self-love. And I think ultimately it's the card of universal love, tapping into the universal love of the universe that exists in all of us. This is your opportunity to do that with this coming in. And it's the opportunity to connect in with the King of Swords, the King of Wands, which is very similar to the Ace of Wands, because it's the ultimate connection with the Wands card. He is totally in control of his passions and his dreams, and he's able to manifest those into reality, and he will follow his dreams until the very end. And so it's like you're being encouraged to take that up. As you make this choice, choose the path that is aligned with your own heart. Tune into your heart center. Look up some heart-centered meditations on YouTube. They're really helpful. You can ask your own heart questions by putting your hand on your heart, taking 3 deep breaths. Let's do it together just with me. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, now I want you to ask, heart, what is the answer? Keeping your hand on your heart, ask your own heart the question that you tuned in, the question that you asked this yes or no video. Ask your own heart now with your hand on your heart. Heart, what is the answer to my question? And the thing that pops into your head that's easy, that's slow, that feels, oh, yeah, that thing that just popped into your head as you asked that question, that's the answer to your question. That right there. You know it. It's there within you. And that is the choice. That is how to move. And when you feel stuck, when you feel scared, when you feel like you are stuck on a rut of asking these videos over and over and over again, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Take those 3 deep breaths with your hand on your heart and ask your heart the question, and your heart will answer. It's very beautiful, and it's helpful. It's helped me. That's a shamanic technique, by the way, and we're going to ask the Shamanic Healing Oracle here, 1 card from that, and it is perception. Yeah, look at this yin and yang symbol. I talked a lot about that. That you have the agency here. It's not about what is the right choice and what is the wrong choice here. With the yin and yang symbol, that is a symbol of duality, yes, but it's also a symbol of non-dualism, right? What that means is that not everything is black and white. Not everything is yes or no. Sometimes things are yes and no as one entity. There is just it. There is just here. There just is. Right? It doesn't have to be good or bad or light or dark or positive and negative. It can just be. And so, the answer to your question is going to come from within, and it's going to come in a way where you are tuned into your own inner being without saying, okay, well, what's going to be the right thing for me? What's going to be the wrong thing for me? It's less about that and more about, well, what do I want? What do I want? And it doesn't matter, like to heck with what people will think. What do I want? And how can I accept what I want? How can I forgive myself for what? And how can I open myself up to my own inner being in such a way where I, without judgment or shame, allow myself to move in the direction that I know really want to move in? Like, how can I have that self love with this one here? Have that self love and self respect enough and self agency enough to know that if I choose my own dreams, if I choose my own heart, I am honoring myself, and that those decisions, as I continue to make place and move forward from that place, I will actually bring in a tremendous amount of happiness into my life because I'm allowing myself to move in the direction that is what's best for me, what I really need for me, and being okay with that, not having judgment in myself for that, allowing myself to be comfortable with that. Anyway, pile number 2, that's most of it. Oh, we just have one last card here. The horse card that we started with, it's got a quote on the back, and it says, "Run free." With all of these sunflowers, we had the sun card, right? Look at that. Run free, pile number 2. Follow the free spirit that is you. Allow yourself to be a free spirit, pile number 2. I'm a free spirit. I run free. And you know what? We can feel guilty about it sometimes. Our society has taught us to feel guilty, free, and embracing our own freedom above all else. But you know what? When you choose your own freedom, you will bring in a sense of accomplishment, a sense of comfort, peace within your world. And it's a beautiful and wonderful thing to be free. So allow yourself to be free. You know, you might have Aquarius heavily in your chart or Gemini, Aquarius. What are they called? I had an astrologer that I worked with once talk about something called the Aquarini, which like she's come to new energy, this powerful energy that's coming into the earth that a lot of us embody, which is this sense of ultimate freedom. It's letting go of the restrictions of the society has placed on us and this free spiritedness as being, because that's what the world needs right now. It's the antithesis of the Capricorn system that we've been in for so long. And you know, Saturn has entered into Aquarius, and that's specifically, you know, that's what I resonate with because my Saturn is in Aquarius, my moon's in Aquarius, I'm a Gemini sun. You know, you don't even have to like astrology, but that's just something that some of you will get something out of. Yeah, run free, pile number 2. Anyway, that's my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Let me know in the comments what you think. I really do love hearing from everybody. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It really does help us out, help me out. It's just me doing this. And I love to bring these to you. I'm so happy to be doing it. You know, yeah. Oh, check out the Instagram too. It is at Junodrome Tarot. I've been getting a little better about scheduling and posting cards of the day. So if you want a little tiny blurb for me every day, you can find that on Instagram. And if you want a private reading, you can find them on my website, www.junodrome.com. Anyway, thanks. I got my radio voice because I got headphones on with a microphone. So I was a radio DJ in college, and that's coming back. It's probably a little different than how I normally talk, but I like that my radio voice is coming back. File number 2. Thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. I'm here for you. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be the reading for what is the answer to your yes or no question. I haven't done one of these in a long time, like I was telling the first 2 piles, and I'm really excited to be doing these because I know that people really enjoy them. They're my most popular videos on my channel, is these yes or nos, and a part of me just feels a little bad of like I don't want to just use it as a crutch, right? I want to make sure that I'm giving a lot of different things, but I do like providing the thing that people really want. You know, it's great. I think these are really beneficial readings as well, and maybe there's a reason why people find them to be their favorite. You know, leaving it really, really open so you can come in with any question and come out with something. And there's something really wonderful to be said about that. So, anyway, you chose the apple. Pile number 3, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. We'll see what the quote is on the back once we do all that. But first, we need to come up with a yes and no. or yes or no, or both. This could be a maybe. I have three different ways of choosing a yes or a no. We've got the pendulum, we've got the die, and we've got the coin. And so we will get answers that way, and then it'll be either a yes, a triple yes, triple no, or a maybe. So first, we're just going to triangulate this pendulum to make sure that it is all working properly. So, pendulum, are there weights in front of me? Yes, there are. Is it getting dark outside? It is indeed. Do penguins fly? Nope, they don't. Poor penguins. They fly in the ocean, kind of, when they swim. Is this the apple pile? It is indeed. Okay, final question. What is the answer to pile number 3, the apple pile's question? Okay, I'm feeling definitely a yes, right? Yeah, it's swinging pretty radically. This is definitely a yes. So the answer is yes. So the pendulum is saying yes. By the way, I'm using a microphone for the first time with headphones, so if I sound like I'm doing a radio voice that's just a little different than my normal voice, it's because I am doing a radio voice that's a little different than my normal. Just because I have headphones, so I'm hearing myself. And I was a DJ in college, so it's all kind of coming back. Anyway, say me though, say me. Okay, die. Let's see. What is the answer? Yes or no? We got a 5, so we're getting a no from the die. Evens yes, odds no. So one yes, one no. So we're definitely in the maybe category. Popular answer, maybe. Let's flip a coin and see which direction it's leaning in. And we got a tails. So this is a maybe leaning no. So whatever you're asking about, there's still an open outcome to this reading, right? There's no real definitive answer. I can't tell you 100% yes or 100% no, but you're definitely leaning in a no direction. So, whether you want to know or not, there is this feeling of no. So let's take a look at the cards and try to understand why why this might be a maybe, what you might need to understand, and what can help you moving forward. So there's a quote on the back of this apple that we'll read at the end. But apples, like I said, the apple a day keeps the doctor away. That symbol of health. They can also be symbols for teachers, right? In the United States, back I think in like the 1800s, it was a tradition for students to bring their teacher an apple when they started the school, and it was like a common gift for students to bring their teacher. So this could be talking about learning. Maybe you're asking a question about schooling or something like that, or maybe that maybe more information is needed. Maybe you need to find a teacher, a symbolic teacher to help you gain a better insight into this question, and that's why it's a maybe. Or maybe you just need to know more. You need to learn more. There needs to be more knowledge involved in order for you to find a real definitive answer. So next up, we have 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. We've got Judgment, and I don't read reversals just because I find that they get in the way a lot. We've got the Father of Wands, and we've got the Emperor. Okay, wow. So this is really powerful, powerful imagery. Yeah, there's this explosion, right, with the lightning bolt here, which can talk about spiritual knowledge. So as we're talking about knowledge, it's like the real answer to your question, and the reason why this is a maybe, although like I said, it's still leaning no, but it is a maybe. And sort of the reason why is that it's like there needs to be some deep, powerful, intuitive insight that needs to come from you. Like I was saying, more knowledge is needed, more insight is needed. It's like this spiritual, intuitive, powerful, creative force of the universe needs to come into a clearer understanding within you. With this Father of Wands. And so it's like in order for you to tune into that, it's going to require you to be your own emperor, be in the emperor energy. And he is like he's the emperor, so he's like in ultimate control of his empire, right? I got a horn for confirmation out there. What does that mean? That means that he rules his life. He rules his domain. in such a way where, he might not be in control of every single little tiny minute thing that happens, but he is the one sitting on the top, calling the shots, pulling things off, being deeply in his own power. It also represents the divine masculine. So taking these decisive actions, taking these decisive steps in order to move forward. So in order for you to be able to take that decisive action, though, like I said, you need to have more knowledge about the situation first. So it's like, if you were asking, should I do this thing? Should I move in this direction? Should I do whatever? And we're getting a leaning no. It's like, well, maybe eventually yes. Maybe eventually the answer is yes, absolutely. But now is not quite the right time because you don't have enough. You don't know enough yet. The emperor doesn't move forward, right, until he gets a clear picture of the situation. He's not going to move his army into wherever, in order to take over territory. And remember, empires, I think, are blah. But anyway, this is the symbol of it. So we need to discuss it from that framework. The emperor isn't going to move his troops into the war, right? Unless there is a specific strategic reason. He's going to use his powers of reason and strategy in order to plan something into being. So it's like, don't take any hasty steps, is kind of what I'm saying. Like, yeah, this is, if you're actually asking about taking action or something, it's like, that might be down the road. Maybe. But don't do it the second because you don't know all of the things yet. And then the judgment's coming in here to let you know that if you do step back and allow yourself to reflect on what's happening, allow yourself to have this period of reflection, you're going to get insights and answers coming to you with this inspiration coming from that Father of Wands. So it's like you're really being asked to take a step back from this situation, to not make any hasty moves moving forward, and to allow yourself to gain a bigger, brighter insight into the situation, more of an understanding on what's happening, and that the more that you do that, the more that you allow yourself to have this sort of osmosis, right, with the judgment there. It's like this bigger perspective needs to flow in intuitively into your mind, and in order to do that, you have to take a step back and be a little reserved, and be in the receptive energy a bit, for that insight to flow into you. And it's going to take a little bit of reflective period. So maybe that means, if you like to exercise, like going for a run and not playing your podcast, but letting your mind wander, or whatever. Like, that's just a silly suggestion based on my own life. But like, whatever makes sense for you. Allowing yourself to have that space in order for insight and answers to flow in. So let's take a look. We got more cards. Powerful reading so far. I really like this pile number 3. We've got 2 cards from the Smith-Waite deck, my favorite Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and we've got the Strength. Okay. And we've got the Hermit. Yeah, so that Hermit energy is really, really, really reflecting exactly what I was just talking about having a period of solitude. Even now with the Hermit, you need to have some reflective time in order to really understand what's happening. So if this is a relationship question, it doesn't have to be. It could be a business relationship, an actual friendship, or romantic, whatever. If it's talking about you and another person, there's a huge importance as you figure out what's happening, of you finding a way to step back from the situation. So maybe not being with that person, but finding some space where you're not with that person, when you're not feeling so stuck and combined with their energy, giving yourself a period of reflection on your own. And if this isn't about that, even like maybe this means not going out and drinking with your friends as much because you need some time and space to figure things out, if that's the case. Maybe it means, saying no to certain social engagements or certain things, just even a short period of a week, to give yourself a little bit of space so you can have some reflection going on. And with that Strength, it's oh, excuse me, I've got the channeling burps. If you channel, you know what that is. With the Strength card here, it's like you've got what's hitting me really strikingly about this symbol is the idea that the strength card in this deck is depicted as, it's like the lion and the lamb energy. It's like she has tamed the lion. So the strength card is not only the ferocity of the lion, but it's the ferocity of the lion that is tamed by the beautiful woman who has this like loving, beautiful, um, divine feminine energy. So it's like it's that balance. You see the infinity symbol here. It is the balance between those two forces. That's what's going to help you moving out of this, or making this decision, or figuring out the answer to the yes or the no. Like I said, no at the moment because the timing isn't right or something like that, where it's like maybe eventually yes, but don't make any hasty actions. Make a strategy. Give yourself the time alone to gain bigger insights and utilize that strength of balance that is within you, right? Don't go at this situation with the ferocity of the lion only, right? Definitely stand your ground with that lion. That lion is definitely telling you stand your ground. If somebody's swinging at you, like defend yourself, yes, but that doesn't mean you're going to immediately attack that person or immediately jump at it, right? If this is one of those kind of situations where there's some like tricky energy going on, where there's something difficult with another person, where there's something like, where you're feeling really triggered and feeling like, oh my gosh, I need a bull, don't be too hasty. Use your strategy, use your powers of reservation first in order to come to a firm, clear understanding of the situation, a removed understanding. Try to find a way to take yourself out if you can from your perspective. It's possible. Don't put yourself and your emotions in the middle of it, which is have your emotions, right? I think it's important to remember we are emotional beings as much as we are material beings, and it's incredibly important that you feel your feelings deeply when they come. But you don't have to act from your feelings. So, and this is the energy of the King and Queen of Swords. So it'd be interesting to see if they pop up. But, you know, don't um, you don't have to act from your feelings, but it is important to feel them. So take this time to maybe step out, take some deep breaths, take some time aside before you act, before maybe you attack back or you hit back or any of that kind of thing. Remove yourself from the situation. Take some time to think. Take some time to breathe. And then you'll have a better understanding of what's going on, and you'll be able to move forward from a place of of understanding as opposed to a place of difficulty. So we have 3 cards now from the 1JJ Swiss deck, and one of my favorites is from the 70s, pretty great. We've got, the blank card. Whoa, I didn't even realize that was in there. That's cool. That's almost like the blank rune, so we'll give it that symbolism. But wow. We've got the King of Pentacles, okay. And we've got the 6 of Wands. All right. So let me just think about what the 6 of Wands is. Oh, wow. Okay. So, as you take this time of reflection, clear your thoughts, right? That's what this blank card is. I have an ongoing agreement, understanding with the universe, with my guides, with the spiritual whatever, with the great beyond, where I get symbols into my life. And one of the things that I've come to understand is, for a while I was getting very clear messages from billboards on the side of buses, and I would read these messages on the buses, and they would always be just applicable for what's going on in my life. And then eventually, I started seeing in the slot where the billboard is normally placed in the bus, there was just no message. It was just blank. Like they hadn't put one in. There wasn't an ad campaign running, so it was just a blank bus. And that I took to mean, okay, this is a moment to take some deep breaths, to meditate, to slow down, to clear my thoughts, to just take some deep breaths. Let's do it a little bit together. Just breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So really take some moments in silence, especially with that Hermit card here. Take some moments in silence, clear your thoughts, Get out of that energy that maybe somebody else put you in. That's all, blah, 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 like come back, come back into yourself, come back into your body. Don't get triggered. Don't get pushed in any direction. And come back into a sense of calm. And from there, you'll start to see that maybe things are a little bit easier to move forward than you thought, right? As you come up with your strategy, you're going to be victorious over the situation. First and foremost, that's the most important message, is that if you do this, if you really take a step back, you really clear your thoughts, you don't let somebody else's energy get to the best of you, um, or the situation or your own fear or your own anxiety or your own mind or any of that. You just take a step back. You forgive yourself for having thoughts. We all have thoughts. We all have thoughts that are intrusive. We all have thoughts that don't work out for us. That's fine. You don't have to identify with your thoughts. Remember that, that we all have thoughts that sometimes we don't want. Those don't have to be you. You don't have to beat yourself up for having those, right? That's so important. Um, you are the awareness behind your thoughts. So keep that in mind. As you just let those things go and come back into yourself, come back into that sense of calm, that sense of understanding, you'll start to see a pathway forward where you will be victorious. And, you're represented here as the king of wands, of pentacles, who is he's the card of ultimate abundance. So he is totally in control of the material world, right? He's totally well within the material world. And so sometimes they can be talking about going back into nature. So honestly, there you might want to take some time walking in nature if you can as well, going outside, finding trees, taking deep breaths and meditating in the forest if you can, in the woods, in a park, and by the tree on your block, your backyard, whatever you have access to. Just like coming back into a sense of calm with the world around you, coming back into your body as well, coming out of being really stuck in your thoughts, right? I kind of feel that energy, a little bit of anxiety energy, a little bit of stuck in your mind, coming back out of your mind into your body, into the here and now. That's going to help you understand the situation a lot better, because you won't be so stuck in, whatever the thought loops are bringing you down. Remember, we all go through this. It's not you alone. You're not alone in that. But you do have the power to bring yourself back from it, and using something called mindfulness. If you've heard of it, it's just the becoming aware of your thoughts, right? Becoming aware that there is a thinking thing that just is constantly moving in your mind. You don't have to identify with that. A lot of times we think that we are that thinking thing, right? And then we can become really vicious to ourselves, because sometimes those thoughts are not things that are pleasant or things that we want to be, and then we get really down on ourselves because, oh my god, I can't believe I thought that. Oh my god, I can't believe that's there, right? And like, if you follow a lot of these spirituality things and a lot of these laws of attraction and stuff, you will know that ultimately, it's important to have these great thoughts, right? But ultimately, though, you don't have to identify too hard with it either, and the only way to I was just talking to a friend about this the other day, um, but the only way to come back into a sense of having these thoughts that are good, right? Quote unquote good, because good and bad are relative, but to have these positive thoughts, um, the only way to get into the ability to have them regularly is by treating your mind like a garden, instead of like identifying so heavily with it. It's like, what are you going to feed that environment? Are you going to, make sure that the shady plants are getting shade and that the sunny plants are getting sun, and watering everything and tending to the seeds? If you do that, remember, you can grow a beautiful, beautiful garden. It doesn't happen immediately, right? Those seeds don't instantly grow into what you want. But if you take the time to nurture and honor yourself, you have the ability to cultivate a really beautiful mind. But the only way to do that isn't to, right, if we start our garden, let's say it's an entire field, or our backyard, and nobody's tended to that garden in 20 years, right? It's going to be overgrown. It doesn't help to go to the garden and be totally overwhelmed and think, oh my god, like, what am I going to do? This garden is terrible because of all these weeds and there's nothing I can do, blah blah blah. Like, that's never going to, taking that attitude and like being down on yourself about it, it's never going to make that garden beautiful. It's going to take slow steps to slowly work through, start seeing the weeds, start like this is where mindfulness comes in. Those thoughts are going to come. You don't have to be down on yourself for having them. Just be curious about it. Like, well, okay, that thought was a thought that I find really challenging and that isn't really, something I want to be identifying with. Okay, that's scary a little bit even. That's okay. Like, where is that coming from? Like, okay, self, like, I love you. I'm here for you. Let's understand. I just want to see. I'm just going to see. And the more that you do that, the more you'll start to understand, like, okay, well, okay, that's a thought, but that doesn't have to be me. And if we take it back to our garden, it's this idea like, okay, well, okay, here's this weed. Okay, I can see that, some seeds from the dandelions probably blew in at one point and now they're everywhere. Okay, I get that. Well, let's just start tending to the garden and try to take those out. And, we're going to clear a plot of land here. And, before you know it, you start to open yourself up to, this energy of being there for yourself. The more that you're there for yourself when you have these challenging thoughts, just being present with yourself, allowing yourself, like I said, it's so important to feel your feelings, right? Allow yourself to feel those feelings. Be there with yourself as you're doing that. It's so important. But, don't be hard on yourself for having those thoughts and feelings. We all have feelings. Sometimes feelings are really challenging and really awful. But if you try to bury it or pretend like it doesn't exist, right, that feeling is still there. The feeling will always be there. The only way that you can release that feeling is by feeling it. When you feel your feelings, you let them go. So it's like it's really like once you feel the feeling, it's gone. You've released the feeling. So yeah, I think that's going to be really helpful for you if you do that, right? If you take the time to start doing that, and like I said about the garden analogy, it doesn't happen overnight. So if you have a really challenging thought environment, or if you've been practicing meditation for 20 years, either way, you know, it takes time. So be present with yourself. Be open to take the time and understanding to get in this. But I do feel a certain sense of immediacy here, in the sense that I do feel like if you allow yourself to have the space and energy, if this is an immediate question, like I said, with it being leaning no, now isn't quite the right time because you're not quite in the right frame of mind, or you're not quite in the right place emotionally, spiritually, whatever. That doesn't mean you're never going to be there. It just means this moment it's a moment of maybe taking a step back, trying to figure things out a little bit more, and then moving forward. So we've got one card from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, who I learned a lot from. Anyway, this oracle is incredible. Just by reading that book, I feel like I gained a certain amount of wisdom and insight from. So check that out. We've got the struggle, yeah, which talks all about this. I want to read that from the book. So just give me a second here. I really do want to plug the Shamanic Healing Oracle by Michelle A. Matuzas. She's incredible. You can follow her on Instagram. I do. She's great. She's got other decks too that I think I'd like to get at some point. But the wisdom that's in this is just so helpful. Like, it transformed me at my lowest depression. Honestly, this deck alone, as well as tarot readings on YouTube, completely changed my outlook on life, and it's a pretty transformative way that's incredible. So let's read from the book, because her words are really amazing, and I think that they'll help you in whatever your situation is. Struggle. Struggle is a part of life, so much so that you probably know people who seem to constantly attract one struggle after another into their lives. This is their comfort zone. While struggle is natural, it is natural only so far as it lends itself to learning lessons and overcoming interpersonal challenges. Beneath every one of these struggles is the gift of enlightenment, the satisfaction of a lesson learned. Use this knowledge as the light at the end of your dark tunnel. What lessons is this struggle teaching you? Alternatively, after a brief setback, the situation will start to right itself, right? So this card is really asking you to make sure that you are, you're asking yourself, okay, well, what is this thing teaching me, right? If you've been feeling like you've been caught in a loop of the same kind of thing over and over and over again, there's a lesson that the universe is trying to get you to learn, and it's like you can't move on fully from that lesson until you really fully incorporate that into your being. And that's a bit about what the judgment card it talks about. We have the judgment here. It's that it's finally being at the point where you can reflect on everything that's happened to you in the past and start to see the patterns, where you start to see like, oh, I totally get it now. I've been thinking this way about this situation the whole time, and that's led me to assume that this has to happen, and I've been following this path, and blah 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 blah. Right? Um, it's important to remember that if you're ready to learn the lesson from the situation, then the universe will work with you to move on. But you have to incorporate the learning, right? That bringing back the apple symbol into the end of this, it's like you have to incorporate the spiritual lessons with that teacher imagery. That's so amazing. I love how these cards do that. Tarot and oracles and divination is amazing how it really does all tie together. But it's time to incorporate those lessons into your being. And once you take the time away and maybe a little bit reserved and maybe being on your own for a minute to finally incorporate those lessons into your life, you will be transformed and you will be able to move on from those situations. But if you just stay in that struggle over and over and over again without fully seeing where the lessons are, you're probably going to continue to feel stuck, and you might repeat the same situation over and over again. So that's important to remember. Now let's read from the back of this Apple card here. There's one quote, and it says, "Nourish your soul." Yeah, so that's the other thing too. Like, if you're trying to cultivate a positive mental environment, it's actually incredibly important to also cultivate a positive physical environment for yourself as well, because our inner and outer worlds reflect one another. So ask yourself, am I eating the right foods? Am I eating enough vegetables? Am I getting the nutrients that my body needs to continue? Am I nourishing my body? If I am, then great. But if I'm not, that's going to actually probably lead to a lot of these mental challenges, because your mind is so intimately connected with your body. And so, like, if you're feeling this sense of anxiety all the time, ask yourself, well, what am I eating? What am I giving myself? And then are you getting enough sleep? That's so important. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're probably going to be lost in that feeling too. Sleep is so incredibly important to our ability to be comfortable in the world. So, are you getting enough sleep? And then finally, what's your physical environment like? Are you cleaning up after yourself? I know, I'm a messy person, or I'm disorganized a lot, but I really do notice if I clean my apartment, my mood improves drastically, or drastically. Um, I like that dramatically. Anyway, it improves an incredible amount. And so, picking up after yourself might seem like a chore, but the more that you do it, the better you're probably going to feel, and maybe your mind will feel less scattered if your physical environment is less scattered. So anyway, pile number 3, I'm going to leave you there. I don't mean to lecture you on cleaning up your room. You do you. I'm just saying you'll feel better. That's enough mom for me. Yeah, if you like this reading, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. If you and leave a comment, let me know what you think. I love hearing from everybody. If you would like a private reading from me, they are available on my website at junodrum.com. And check out the Instagram. I've been getting a little bit better about regularly posting little one-off card of the days that are really fun. So if you want little blurbs from me every day, the Shamanic Healing Oracle is heavily featured on that section. You can find that at Juno Drum Tarot. And follow Michelle Matsukas. I always remember, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, Michelle. You're awesome. Your Instagram's awesome. Follow her on Instagram too. She's great. Anyway, friends, I will catch you later. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. See ya. Hi there, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be, what is the answer to your yes or no question? This is, of course, the pile that shows the blueberries here. So we're going to ask 3 methods for a yes or a no. We're either going to get a triple yes, triple no, or a maybe. And then we will check the cards to get a better understanding of things. So first up is the pendulum. We're going to ask it a couple questions just to make sure that everything's working and triangulate the pendulum, make sure that it's giving us accurate answers first. So are there weights in front of me? Yes, there are. Did I sweep the apartment today? I did, and it feels really nice. Am I wearing a turquoise shirt? No, I am not. No, it does have a blue on it. It's not turquoise. Is the die on a number 3? No, it is not. It's not a number 2. Final question. What is the answer to the blueberry piles question? What's the answer? Yes or no? All right, it's moving into a yes. Okay, it was feeling no, but it's not. It's definitely moved into a yes, and it feels like a pretty strong one. So this may be one of those situations where maybe the answer's unclear and it was feeling one way, it was feeling no, but actually it's yes. So we'll get a better understanding of when we do the die and the coin. So yes or no from the die, even or odd, yes or no. And we got an odd. Okay, so yeah, I was feeling some maybe energy. The pendulum said yes. The die says no. So it's definitely a maybe. The coin will let us know which direction, yes or no. And we got another no. So this is a maybe leaning no. For whatever reason, the answer is a little bit unclear, but it is leaning in a no-word direction. So let's try to find out a little bit more about what's going on. These out of the way. You got the blueberry card, right? So blueberries have antioxidants, right? They just make me think of smoothies. I drink a power smoothie every day. So maybe you need to get some fruit in your life in order to get a better understanding of what's going on. We'll read the quote on the back. Excuse me, when we're done. And we'll maybe get some more answers from that way. First up is 2 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. We've got the 2 of Cups, and we've got the Moon card. And what's interesting, I've never really noticed this before, but in this particular deck, there's 2 trees here too. So I feel like a couple things. Obviously, these yes or no's are open to anybody who's asking. So you could be asking about literally anything. I think some people are asking about some kind of relationship dynamic. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be with another person, even with yourself, some kind of relationship dynamic potentially you're asking about, because we have those 2 present as there. With the Moon and with the 2 of Cups, it's almost like you don't know what's going on with this person or with this situation or with what's going on, right? Which is why you're asking yes or no. But I do feel that because we have the Moon here, which talks about being in the dark about something, talks about not having all the answers, not quite understanding. And then we have the 2 of Cups, which can talk about love, can talk about love with another person, and it can talk about relationships, but it can also talk about self-love and your connection to yourself. And also the Moon can talk about the intuition and connecting deeply to your own intuitive sensibility. So with this being a maybe, like I said, it is leaning in the no direction, but I think that maybe is kind of coming in because this is one of those situations where you really kind of have to come to the answer within yourself, which I know is a cop-out. Like for these yes or no's, you just want a direct answer, but this is one of those readings that's telling you, like, go within for the answer. And that can sound really, like hokey sometimes, or really like not at all what you want to hear, but honestly, like, within you what the answer to this question is. And that's why you're in the dark, because you haven't really connected into your own intuition on this. You're just on the surface, so you're looking outside of yourself for answers. Maybe you're looking to other people to try to help you answer this question, when in reality it's a question that you can only answer on your own. And so you know, really tuning into your intuition and into your heart, connecting into your own heart center, your own inner being, will help you get a much better picture on the answer to this question than anything outside of yourself can, which can include tarot readings like this, which, like I said, I know it's a cop-out, but like, you have the answer to this question within you. And so we're going to have a couple more cards here to get a better picture of this. And like I said, it is sort of leaning in a nowhere direction, but this may be one of those solid maybes too, unfortunately, especially because like I was feeling one way and then it became the other way with the pendulum, and that's kind of the feeling of this reading, right? So it's like you may be leaning in one direction for this question that you asked, but ultimately the answer to it may, I'm not saying that it's the opposite of what you were feeling, but by going within and giving yourself some time to understand yourself a little bit more, to understand what's happening a little bit more, you might get a better picture of the situation, because your intuition has the answer for you, um, and it's not going to be given to you like in the physical. It's going to have to come from within. So, powerful antioxidants with the blueberries. So give yourself a smoothie, like I make my protein smoothies. Uh, and I don't know, yeah, like nourish your body, nourish your mind, and maybe that'll help you understand things a little bit more. Next up, we have two cards from the Smith Waite deck. We've got the okay. Oh yeah. Oh, talk about that transformation. I totally get that. The Five of Cups, and then we have the Nine of Swords. Oh friends, oh friends. I know where you are right now. I've been there. I've been there. Um, I think you're a little too stuck in your head right now about the situation with the Nine of Swords. It talks about anxiety. It's pretty much the anxiety card, waking up from these nightmares. But these anxieties come from past battles, right? There's past situations that were difficult and challenging, and I think that's where your anxiety is coming from, right? It's coming from a sense of things were not stable in the past, and I'm so terrified of those things repeating themselves. So I feel like I can't let myself go through the situation that I went through again. So I'm going to do everything in my power to try to make sure that that never happens again. And so I'm stuck in this anxiety because of that. And that doesn't have to be conscious, right? That tends to be an unconscious thing that we carry with us if we've been through any kind of trauma in life, and many of us have. We tend to walk forward from those situations in a sometimes a perpetual state of anxiety where we just are so afraid and we don't know why, but it's just going on there because it's like we're hyper vigilant. I feel like maybe pile number 4, you might be hyper vigilant about this situation, and so you're kind of really racking your brain about it and looking so hard for the answer. But like I said, that answer's got to come from within, and the 5 of cups is really hinting at that same yes then no kind of thing that we were talking about at the beginning. It's hinting at where that's coming from and what's going on. I think what needs to happen for you is you need to have a perspective shift. The 5 of Cups is the grief card. It can talk about loss. It talks about feeling really down, really depressed about something. But it's actually one of my favorite cards, surprisingly enough, for having that message, because it actually also hints at this much greater transformation of reality that can exist for us. This like much more um, transformative event that can happen through grief and loss, which I know, like, I'm not saying that, terrible things have to happen for you to gain insight. Like, no, it's the opposite. It's like you can gain insight from the difficult things that have happened for you, and actually by doing that you empower yourself instead of disempower yourself, because you gain something from the experience instead of just letting that experience destroy you. And that's kind of what this is about. Is like, yes, you have lost these 3 cups. You see he's dejected over these 3 cups that have fallen below. They've fallen, they've spilled, and it's a very sad thing. And it's not saying that the sadness is not real. It's very real. It's very visceral. It's very there. It's a shame that those have spilt. But, and this is the very important but about this card, there are still 2 cups remaining behind him. You see those 2 cups that are upright? And what that means is that, yes, he has lost some things in his life, but there are still things that remain. And in fact, now that these other things are gone, he can slowly learn how to turn around and gain, look at what cups are there, and then he can cherish those cups so much more. He can connect in and to take those cups, and he can treasure those cups now way more than he could before. And sometimes I even take that to mean like he has a more clear direction on which way to move now, because these 3 cups are gone. He doesn't have to worry about them anymore. he's got these two left that are, it's like a much easier for him to juggle those two cups. You know, maybe these three cups fell because he was trying to carry all of them and he just couldn't anymore. And he might feel sad and dejected because he lost these cups because he feels like it's his fault that he dropped them, which on one hand, yes, because he was carrying too many to begin with, but on the other hand, now he's not carrying too many and he has enough to continue on with these things that he can cherish, right? So it's almost like use that in the situation that you're going through, like, you know, don't be afraid. Okay, that's totally what this is. I connect this into it. Don't be afraid of losing these three cups anymore, right? If you feel like you're stuck, you don't want what happened to you in the past to happen anymore. Well, think about what happened in your past and think about how much now, without those things that have lost, how much more free you may be to move forward in the way that you want, right? Maybe those things had to leave your life in order for you to be able to connect to the things that are meant for you. And I know that's not easy to hear. And, you know, I'm not saying, like I said at the beginning, that does not mean that, you know, terrible things are justified, that suffering is great. You know, I'm not saying that. It's just that we all experience suffering in life. That's a part of being alive, and we might as well try to understand reality better and come to a clearer sense of ourselves through that, than let those things destroy us. Right? We can become resilient against the things that have happened to us instead of being afraid of them happening again. It's tuning into your own resilience, seeing like, you know what? Yes, these terrible things have happened to me, but you know what else? I am strong now because of it. You know what? I lived through those things. I am here right now experiencing life because I made it through that situation, right? That situation did not end me. I am not dead. I am very much alive. So yes, those things have happened to me, but ultimately, I survived those things. I did. I really did. I survived those things that were really, you know, scary or difficult or challenging or hard or awful and terrible, but I lived to tell another day. And now I can take that life and cherish that life and move forward however I want because I know that I am a powerful person able to live my life the way that I need, right? So I just I feel that for you guys, like as and girls and non-binary people, you know, as you move forward, you know that you might not have all the answers, but like, and you, like I said, this is a yes or no, so this is like a, you know, leading no kind of situation, but it's, I feel this one's a solid maybe. It's a solid maybe because it's like you have to allow yourself to transform your consciousness in order to really move forward in the way that's going to be best for you. And so, you know, you might not have a direct answer to this question because, you know, you have to have that perspective shift. We've got two more tarot cards before we finish you out here. These are both from the 1JJ Swiss deck. And we've got, and I'm going to just make sure that the camera's going. It is. I've had some camera cutouts while filming this, so, you know, bear with me. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, which one is that? It's hard when they don't have the pictures. Okay, I remember. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so two Pentacles energies now. The Pentacles are all about the material world. They're about the physical world around us. They can be about our health. Yeah, those antioxidants. They can be about, you know, the wealth. Sometimes, you know, the classic thing is about money, but it's not just about that. It's about, you know, nature, the physical world around us, our physical bodies, how we interact with the world physically. So you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about hard work. It's putting in hard work into a situation until you get the best results, right? So it's like it's going to take some work to make things happen, but if you're willing to put in that work, you will gain those results. And it can also indicate that you've actually already put in a bunch of work into this already. So it's like look at where in your life you have done a ton of work, and that's going to help you move forward. You also have the Queen of Pentacles, who is coming in to help you with your yes or no situation, to let you know that, like, you have the power to be this beautiful, giving, generous person, right? The Queen of Pentacles, she's incredibly generous. She's incredibly giving. She is, you know, the first to give. in any given situation. The thing about it though is she's not afraid. She makes sure that she fills her own cup first, right, so to speak. I know she's not the cups, but you know what I mean. She makes sure that she is solid first. She's not overgiving. She's not in the reverse. She can be overgiving. I don't do reversals, but that tends to be the reverse situation where you're giving too much away. She doesn't do that. Um, she makes sure that she's always going to have her solid foundation first. It's totally fine to do that in life. Make sure that you are giving yourself a solid foundation. Make sure you're not giving too much. So many horns outside, so this is double, double, double confirmation. Make sure you're not giving away all your energy to everyone else. Make sure that you are saving enough for yourself first. It's so important. Um, it's that adage that I always bring back to this, but it's so important to remember when you're on an airplane, right? Remember what they tell you. If you're in a crash and the oxygen masks come down, you must secure your own oxygen mask first before helping anybody else. It's because if you don't do that, you are going to pass out. And not only will you not be able to help anybody else, but then you will be an incredible burden on everyone else as well because they will need to save you. So that's the thing. It's like, don't give away so much that you put yourself in a place where not only do you not have enough for yourself, but you have to then go out and help get even more help from everyone else, right? Like it's like that's not helping anybody else and it's not helping yourself. It's just overexerting yourself in a way that's not helpful. So you have to make sure that you have a deep and solid foundation for yourself first, and then you can give to others. So use that as you work forward. If this is about a relationship situation, even if it's not romantic, if it's with a friend, if it's with family, if it's with coworkers, if it's with a job, if it's with yourself, it's so important to remember to have strong boundaries in your relationships, right? What is a strong boundary? It means being able to say no in certain situations. It means understanding what your limits are, knowing your own personal limits engaged with both others and with yourself, and not being afraid to say, you know what, this has gone a little bit too far for me. I need to walk away. That does not mean that I don't like you. That does not mean that I hate you. That does not mean that I think you're terrible. That does not mean that I don't even want to help you. It just means I know that I have overexerted myself in this situation a little too much, and I need to back off right now because I need to recharge myself. I need to recharge my batteries. I need to be on my own. I need my own space. There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with having very strong boundaries with people in relationships. And in fact, you cannot be this queen of pentacles. Remember the queen of pentacles. She cannot be able to give, and she's incredibly generous. She gives so much because she's so wealthy. But she's wealthy because she gives herself the ability to recharge that wealth when she needs it, right? She gives herself, and the pentacles can talk about the physicality, your own health, your own body, your own mind. She's able to give herself those boundaries, to take those steps back and really, really take the time to be on her own, to regain herself first, to regain her wealth in order to give more, right? Like it's okay to receive and to be in a place of reception, because then you're in an even bigger place to be able to give even more to more people because you've received so much, right? So it's important to remember that, like, don't feel guilty about receiving things. Don't be guilty about having money. If you feel like your ultimate goal is to build that, to give even more, to build an even bigger thing to share with even more people, maybe you can't help every individual person that comes on your path, but you'll be able to take and utilize your energy to build something huge that can help even more people, right? Like look at what I'm doing right now, like, and I don't, this channel's still growing, but like I'm able to reach so many more people by doing these tarot readings than I ever was by giving all of my energy away to certain individual people that I used to spend all my time with, because I was really trying to help those people individually, but I was completely depleting myself. I had zero boundaries with any of them, and I got to the point where, there was a while where I felt like in order to be the best spiritual and just the best person, the best human that I could, I decided to give everything that I could to every homeless person I came across. And that just became like, give to homeless people if you can. And we need to really do something in this country, in the United States, about our homeless problem. It's huge, especially here in the city of Seattle and on the West Coast in general where I live. But a lot of that is right. A lot of that's systemic problems. A lot of that is social problems. We need better leadership in government. We need somebody to do something about the housing situation that's going on, because we have a global housing situation where all of our housing stock is going towards these giant corporations and these incredibly wealthy individuals across the planet, right? Like those are huger issues that are coming to this problem. There was not a lot that I could do as an individual giving out my last dollar bill to homeless people when I'm now trying to save that money so I can, I can work less hours at part-time jobs in order to be able to build these kinds of things and to do the art that I want, because I'm trying to build something even more. And I'm able to reach more people now by doing these YouTube videos than I could do on an individual basis. So that's just my own life. And like I said, like it's not, I don't, that's not to say I'm holier than thou or anything like that. And you might not agree with that decision either, and that's okay too, right? Like I don't pretend to know capital T truth. I want you to know that I'm just coming from my own inner self and my own channeling of the great whatever that's happening through these readings, and whatever's happening here, right? I don't pretend to know ultimate truth, and I think that's important to remember. That's just what I've come to understand for myself. But it's something to remember, right? It's like secure your own oxygen mask first, and then you can help even more. So anyway, your final oracle card before we read the quote on the back of the blueberries comes from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, which is really great. Let me just check the camera again. Yeah, we're good. We're going. It's great. Everything's great. We've got honoring your energy, which holy moly, I just like these readings tonight have been so on point. Every one of them, I've been getting these cards that are just like so crazy synchronistic with each other. But honoring your energy is literally what I was just talking about. That entire process of having boundaries and all of that is exactly what this card's about. And I'm going to read it from the book so you know. I plugged this in the last pile, but I really do recommend, if you're looking for an oracle deck, this one is incredible. Shamanic Healing Oracle by Michelle A. Matsukas. And she also has an Instagram, by the way. You should look her up. I follow her on Instagram. She's got other decks, too, that look really great that I don't have yet. But this deck single-handedly helped me transform my life. You talk about being in that transformative energy from the grief to understanding, the gratitude of what you have. This deck single-handedly helped me do that, as well as readings here on YouTube. But so I do recommend it a lot. But let me read it from the book here. Honoring your energy. We all have those days where we are disinclined to do anything. We try all sorts of mental tricks to talk ourselves out of doing what we should be doing. Does this ever work? No. We end up feeling guilty, a very low vibration, for not getting anything done, which causes us to try twice as hard the next day, which causes us to get overwhelmed and exhausted, which then leads to becoming caught up in a vicious cycle. Your body has rhythms, just as everything else on earth does: flowers, trees, plants, and the elements. The tides ebb and flow. The sun and moon rise and set. Animals hibernate, and flowers grow, bloom, and go dormant. You need to listen to the inherent cycles within you. Rest when you need to. Work when you need to. Do not try to outthink the natural rhythms. Go easy on yourself and reserve judgment. You are your own harshest critic. Yeah, so that is actually a little bit of a different message than what I was talking about, but it still really ties into this in the sense that like if this is a question about should I be doing this thing or should I be doing that, like, oh, am I supposed to be doing this in this moment? Am I not working hard enough? Any of that kind of thing. This is saying like, well, sometimes you need to break, first of all. Sometimes you need to listen to yourself and listen to your body in order to answer that kind of question, because it's like, if you were constantly feeling like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. Oh my God, I don't want to do this. And you're just like forcing yourself to do this, but you're just resenting it even more and more and more the more you keep pushing. You got to listen to yourself. Maybe you really just need a day off. And if you were to just take that break, take that few days, take that month, who knows, whatever that is. And I'm not telling you to just give up, right? But if you need to take some time to decompress for a bit, maybe you need to take that time, because maybe that means that you'll come to a clearer understanding and you'll be able to pick it back up from a place, where you're more connected, you're more able to do things, you're more able to understand what's happening, and you're less pushed into any direction one way or the other, right? So give yourself the time and the space to do what you need to do, and to have these kinds of transformations within yourself. And make sure you are having your healthy smoothie, right? Doesn't have to be a smoothie. Make sure you're eating right? That kind of thing. Let's read the quote on the back of that. Be filled with joy. Yeah, so, and the more that you do that, the more that you give your space time to recoup and rest, and make sure that you are filling your own cup first before helping everybody else. Make sure you're not completely depleted. You're going to feel happier, right? And then you'll be able to share that happiness with people instead of being in a place of total depletion all the time and not feeling happy, right? You can't force happiness sometimes, You have to make sure that you're growing and cultivating the conditions within your life for happiness. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from you giving yourself the time and the space to make sure that you can feel it. So anyway, pile number 4, that's my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. I love hearing all of your comments. If you are new to the channel, or if you are old and tuning back in, please subscribe. It really does help me out. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000. And, once the larger I can grow this channel, the more I can take this on full time, the more that I can keep posting regularly, and, even my goal would be to do it daily. When this channel was really, really, really active and I was doing it every day, it's because I was unemployed on the pandemic and I could do that. But, I've been having to work, and that's making things a little bit more challenging. But the more people that subscribe, the more people that are watching, so share this with your friends, the more people that get involved, the more I can do. So definitely share this around, and let me know what you think either way too. I know these yes or no videos are incredibly popular, so if you want me to just keep doing these, I can do a lot more of these too. They're a lot of fun for me. The reason why I haven't been doing them as much is I was just afraid that I was overdoing it and people didn't want them, but they are the most popular video that I ever post on this channel, so maybe I should be doing them more regularly. I don't know. Or I could do one every other, or I can do, someday I'll be able to do at least twice a week again, and I could do a yes or no and the other one in each week. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm playing this by ear. Definitely trying to post regularly again though. So stay tuned for that. And you can follow us on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram as well. I started a Junodrome Tarot Instagram at Junodrome Tarot. I've gotten a little bit better about posting these daily one card readings. So if you want a little bit more from me every day, you can find that on Instagram. And if you want a private reading with me, I do have them available on the website. You can find that at junodrome.com. I would love to give a reading for you and to help you out a little bit more in your situation. So anyway, pile number 4, that's my reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. See ya. Hi there, pile number 5. Welcome to your reading. So this is going to be your reading for what is the answer to your yes or no question. I'm really excited to be doing another yes or no video because I do know that they're the most popular videos I do. I haven't been doing them as much only because I was afraid for a while that that these were too much doing them. I didn't want to do too many, but they really are the ones that people like the most, and I really do like giving them to you. So I'm definitely going to be doing other things besides just yes or no, but I'm going to try to bring these yes or no's a little bit more regularly into the rotation, because people really like them, and I like giving them to you, and it's a lot of fun. So you chose the pile with the toad here. Nice toad. Toad symbolism. We can talk about the frog prince and that kind of thing. We'll get into that, but it's like appearances can be deceiving, that kind of idea. Whatever you're asking about, we're gonna do 3 methods for a yes or a no. So it'll be either a triple yes, triple no, or a maybe. But whatever you're asking about, the outcome is going to probably have something to do with appearances being deceiving. That's kind of the energy I'm getting. But we're going to start with the pendulum here. So we have to just triangulate it to make sure that it's working. So we got a strong energy. That's cool. Is there some weights sitting in front of me? Yes, there is. Is my name George? No, it is not. I'm JP. Hi. Okay. Is there a record player in front of my face? Yes. It's in front of me anyway. Um, all right, what's the answer to pile number five's question? Pile number five, I'm getting a strong yes from the pendulum. I really am feeling yes. So we've got one yes here. Let's take a look at our other options. The die, either even or odd, yes or no. And we got a two, which is a yes. So you got two yeses so far. Let's do the final coin. Yes, no. And we got a heads. Triple yes. All right. Oh, cool. Pile number five. You have a triple yes. So, whatever you're asking about, the answer is enthusiastically yes. So let's take a look at the cards to get a kind of a better understanding. But you know, this may be a situation where you think it's going one way and you're asking about it, and the answer is going to be yes, because the looks of it might be deceiving. So let's take a look. There's a quote on the back that we're going to read at the end, but I like to save those for the end just to have a nice little closing statement. So we've got three cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. First one is the High Priestess. Okay, so you definitely have the answers within you, and you're being asked to go within for more understanding. Um, the Empress. Oh, wow. So that super divine feminine energy, especially High Priestess and the Empress together in one, like that's a power dynamic right there, those two. And then the Strength card, yeah, with that lion energy. With lions and tigers, we need bears and oh my, right? um, so yeah, the lion with that strength energy, holding the rose in its mouth, and we got infinity and the sun, some Leo energy going on there. You don't have to be Leo, but Leos always remind me of personal power and being in one's own strength. Very strong energy. So yeah, so to have these all together, it's like it's an enthusiastic yes, and there's like you know this reading is really asking you to trust yourself, right? That trust yourself to know that you know how to do the right thing. Trust yourself to know that you know how to move in a direction that is beneficial for you. You know how to move in such a way where you can make things happen in a way that's going to help you, and help the situation and be the best, right? It's like with that sun energy, it's almost like the sun card is coming out here too. You have the strength to to see the sunrise, right? Like it's a brand new day is dawning. I feel that energy of this, like it's a brand new day. And with that toad, remember, it's like maybe things look, tricky in the situation that you're in right now. Maybe on the surface things seem challenging and difficult, but you're about to break through into a new period. You're about to break through into this new shining day. And so go within to get these understandings. And with this Empress, she's all about being in the divine feminine energy, which is being open to receiving, right? It's like the good things are going to be coming to you. It's less a period about forcing things into existence and more a period about allowing the things that are meant for you to come in. So be open to receiving, be open to allowing the things that are the best for you to come into your life, that they're waiting to come into your life, and it's asking for you to be open to let that happen. So let's keep looking at the tarot here. We're going to set these ones aside. We've got two cards from the Smith Waite deck, my favorite Rider-Waite Smith version. We've got the Queen of Cups. She's very loving and open, similar in a sense to the energy of the Empress in a lot of ways. And we have the Hierophant, which is cool. So the Hierophant and the High Priestess are counterparts in the tarot, which is interesting that you have both of them. Whereas the High Priestess is all about the inner world and the intuition and coming from the unseen. The Hierophant is all about the spirituality that comes from religion, the traditional practices, how people have done things, going with the tried and the true. And so to have them out together, it's to me, it's kind of this energy of like, allow yourself to become the teacher, right? That like, you have the wisdom within you to complete whatever situation that's going on in your life. And, you may draw on inspiration from the past and allow yourself to use the wisdom that has come before you, but also trust your own knowing as well. Don't allow, anything that other people have done in the past keep you from following your own understanding. That's really important. And connect in with your own heart space. Be open to this deeply loving emotion. Be open to connecting to feelings of open love and joy and understanding and creation and creativity. Be open to your emotions. The cups are the water signs, so be open to the flow. Go with the flow in this situation. Allow yourself to flow with things. I feel like I feel very much this flow state energy from this reading. With it being an enthusiastic yes, it's like yes, follow that drive, that intuition. I feel like this is a yes that you want. So if it's a yes that you don't want, maybe it's like you're a little bit afraid or hesitant of this yes, but this yes feels very positive. So it's like, you know, allow the situation to run its course, to run through you. Allow yourself to move with it, to go with the flow. I definitely feel like there's a go with the flow energy, that like you're on a roll. Keep that roll up, keep that flow going. We've got two cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. We've got the Two of Wands. Yeah, your ships are coming in. You're ready to journey off into the sunset a little bit there. Um, Maybe even travel, thinking about traveling. If you were asking about traveling and you're a little worried because of the COVID situation, I mean, take it as it resonates, because this could be way in the future that you're watching this. But um, it's still an enthusiastic yes. So there's opportunity there. Or you want to move, you want to go, you want to be on the go, or it's within. You want to learn something new. You want to take a class, any of that. There's this enthusiastic yes going on here. Follow your tuition with it. Classes and stuff with the Hierophant, they can be a teacher sometimes. So like I said, be your own teacher, but maybe learn something new too. And we got the Eight of Swords, which can talk about feeling stuck. So it's like, I feel like that's coming to an end, right? With this, on the surface, it looks like one thing, but it's a blessing in disguise. There's a little bit of that blessing in disguise energy as well. Like, I definitely feel like you don't have all the answers on you right now, and that maybe is causing you a little bit of worry. But ultimately, like, you have the ability to get yourself out of any kind of situation where you're feeling stuck. And I feel like maybe the opportunity for you to open up to a new way of doing things, a new way of being, a new understanding, is really going to help you move into a new, bright new day. And so it's like this period of feeling stuck, I think, is ending for you, pile number 5. And so it's important for you to embrace that ending and allow whatever needs to happen to happen. So we've got one final card. This is a short and sweet reading. I'm feeling it's short, but I feel like it needs to be. I feel like this is just an enthusiastic, yes, go for it, do it. This is like a go for it reading. It's like, please go for it. You want to do something? Do it. You're asking, should I go on this vacation? Do it. Should I take this class? Do it. Should I do whatever? Like any of those kinds of things. Like, yeah, do it. You get that energy here, which is really nice. It's really great. You have the strength to do this. You let yourself know that you can you can do it. You can do this. Shamanic Healing Oracle. We have Burden. Interesting. I'm going to read that from the book. Maybe you feel like that with that Eight of Swords. It's like you feel like you can't do it because of whatever. There's something in your way, right? You feel like, oh, well, I don't know if I could do this because I feel like I have these responsibilities, or I have X, Y, and Z I have to do. But honestly, it's like this reading is asking you to take the plunge. Let me read Burden. Many times we take on the stress of those we love and care for. We see it as the ultimate sacrifice. We take on others' burdens to save them the trouble or heartache. Ironically, the way energy and the universe work make this a very counterproductive way of operating. When we take on the burdens of others, we deny them the ability to learn and grow from their own lessons. We also interfere with the divine planning and timing. Never one to be thwarted, any lessons circumvented will absolutely reappear, sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. Ask yourself if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of a need to be needed. This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough. It's not true. You are created perfect. Your fears and doubts keep you separated from this truth. This separation one can feel this is the separation one can feel from Creator. Once you accept and believe you are perfect and worthy, the tendency to make yourself invaluable to others through your help and assistance will go away. Your relationships can then be based on truth and not manipulation. Yeah, so, I feel like ultimately, pile number 5, it's like, don't feel like you can't take this chance on yourself to do something because of somebody else. I think that's huge in this. Don't feel like you have to stay in a situation because you're the only one who can help that person. Like maybe that person needs to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. Maybe that person needs to understand that, that they can't always, like maybe they have some certain lessons that they need to learn about being on their own, or anything like that, that you leaving is actually going to teach them, and it might be something really important for them to learn. So don't allow anything like that to keep you from following your dreams, to keep you from following the things that light you up in life, to keep you from taking a chance on yourself to make something happen. And like I said, with that toad energy, it's like maybe you're afraid that by leaving or moving on or doing something else or walking away from certain people or certain things, or leaving your family to go to school or something like that. I feel like a little bit of that energy from some people here. um, don't allow that fear to keep you from following the things that you like, because, maybe this is a blessing in disguise kind of a thing. Maybe it's like on the surface you feel like you're afraid that that's going to, mess things up or make somebody feel bad or anything like that, but maybe they will be really happy to see you following your dreams. Maybe that will make them so excited and happy for you, to watch you do something that you love, to watch you explore the world, to watch you jump off and, fly away. Like if you're a little bit afraid of leaving your parents, for instance, because you want to go off to school in a state that's a little too far away. It's so specific, but I know that I know for a fact somebody watching that, like, tell me in the comments if this is for you, because I know my intuition is telling me that there's somebody watching that this is going on. If you are in a situation where you're afraid to leave your family or your parents because, they're your parents and you're their baby, and, you love them and they love you, and you're in a situation where, like you have a really great relationship and you're afraid of them being on their own, know that them watching you succeed in life and excel and enjoy yourself and grow and blossom at school is going to bring them so much joy, and so much inspiration, that like that's going to be so great for them to watch you do that. So take that as it resonates. Obviously that's not everybody, but take that as an example, as a metaphorical example for your own situation. um, there is somebody out there. You might be a little bit scared to jump into the great unknown, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you have all of these things that are comfortable in your life and you don't want to leave them behind, but ultimately, you're gonna excel at whatever this plunge is, and it's gonna bring you so much joy that you should go for it. You should allow yourself to experience that kind of joy. Don't be afraid of experiencing that beautiful, wonderful, joyous time that wants to come into your life right now, because there's so much opportunity for that, and you're going to be so happy for doing that. So anyway, we've got the quote on the back of the Toad card, and it is, to all, I got to read it up right. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Aristotle. Yeah, so it's like, it's totally that was what I'm talking about. Like in all things in nature there is something of the marvelous. So even in the things that are seemingly challenging or difficult or that don't make sense, or maybe seem on the surface that they're problematic, there's still something beautiful in it, and it just takes you learning how to see what that beauty is, that is going to help you move forward, and maybe there's some lessons to learn in there too, that for you and for the other person, if there's other people involved, but maybe there's some lessons that need to be learned, and by embracing that and asking yourself, okay, well, what is the lesson from this situation, you'll be able to transform your perspective so that you're not just, being down on yourself about things, but you're actually moving up and moving on in a way that's really wonderful and beautiful. So anyway, pile number 5, that's my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Let me know in the comments what you think. I really do like hearing from everybody. For everybody who's new, and even if you're not, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. The more subscribers that I get, the more that these videos get out, and the more that people are watching and subscribing and becoming a part of the channel and the community, the more that I'm going to be able to afford to do these full time. Right now, I have to work a bunch on the side to try to make things work, and that's fine. This is a slow build, slow burn, and I'm totally into building as long as it's going to take. But the more people that watch, the more it gets out, the more I can keep making them. And I'd like to be able to make even more and become as regular as possible about these videos. So yeah, please subscribe. It helps. If you would like a private reading with me, they are available on the website. You can find that at junodrome.com. And there's an Instagram out now that I'm posting little daily card of the days. You can find that at Junodrome Tarot on Instagram. So if you want little mini messages from me every day, you can find those on Instagram. And I'm glad to bring them to you. So anyway, pile number 5, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you later. Thank you again, and I love you. Bye.